Oh, hello there! Long time no see. That is the reason I thought I'd just grab you for a video in which I will try to recreate a level from an old Super Mario game. Here in Blender, I just built a scene out of very simple forms from Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island back on the Super Nintendo. I also thought if I want to bevel them, so everything here is very blocky, it's very strong. You could just like do a bevel, but then you would have like these little joints between all the tiles, and it would be more smooth to bevel those, of course, but that is not how the game looked like. I mean, one problem is you always looked from the side, so you never looked on top. So that will definitely look weird when you walk through. It will definitely look different, but I hope it will just transfer the feeling. So I exported all this here that I roughly created in Blender into a new project. If you saw my last videos, you know that you should go for the VRChat Creator Companion that you get on the website, and then you create just a new world project here. Also, I like to have world essentials like the platform link, stuff that I get from the internet. And these Unity packages that I often use when I do new worlds, I have in one folder, so I don't need to search all the stuff. The same goes for fancy shaders or so. But I am definitely a fan of keeping it simple, so I often just use the standard shader. So the level here is Prince Froggy's Fort. Why not call it Prince Froggy's Fort? You know? Yeah, it could be more people in here, definitely. But, I mean, it would be quickly kind of crowded, I guess. No image so far. Yeah, we will do that later. No content warnings, no tags so far. Tags, we could use something like Nintendo. I bet they would really like that I redo levels of them. Yoshi. Platformer? I don't know. Castle? It's fine for now. And I also put everything of the map here in the correct folder. I gave names to this to the things, yeah. For example, here I got one of the original textures and scaled it up a bit. Then I cutted it out to have an alpha version. Oh, I love this. This is always like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Don't bug me when I work. And I used just a website that creates normal maps automatically from textures to get some normal maps to have at least a bit more detail. There are so many sites out there that archive sounds from the game, so I have here originally grabbed sounds from the game. I gave them names. I also found backgrounds and textures, and I just cut it out original bricks of the textures and placed them all over. Also here the water, you know. But this now is very rough as a level. The only thing I changed so far is setting the world origin to the pipe. We will get our bums out and then we have to walk. I thought it is a funny idea that here you can just then go through the wall and then go up to the boss room, and that should just like teleport the player here, and there could be a boss one day, we don't know. So far we just want to recreate the feeling that this had back then, you know. So yeah, why not? create at first like create empty and call it. I always like to put things in head and body, kinda. No, but head is everything that contains the important stuff that you don't see. Also, I create an empty and call it kinda level controller. And the level controller should have an udon behavior. Yeah, keep it continuous if you want. Oh, don't bug me. I hate those programs. So castle is the whole thing here. VRC world is kind of a thing that would be for head, like also the camera. A directional light. Don't need that right now. I don't know if I ever. At least I definitely don't need the standard floor. The event system may be something important. We replace it with the new import module thingy. So I also logged into the SDK. You know, all these steps I explained in other videos. This is just like a refreshment, and maybe it inspires you. Maybe you get something new from it. I don't know. So here with the pipe, and so I kept it easy and just made metal to metal materials, you know, to give that effect here. So I open this thing and then back wall, brick wall. I always like to have control of the things here. And in prefabs, in kind of when you drag something in, you don't have much control. Everything is grayed out here. I hate that. That's the reason why I like to drag them out here. So let's just mark all the materials that we can see here. So here is a material, and we just Control D duplicate all of them. And I will drag and drop them quickly into assets, because then I can create a new folder that is called materials. And that's how it should be. So then I close it and back into the materials. Here we can see. When I click here, what do we have here? Because sometimes I think that something is in the way. I don't know. So this pipe, I will drag the materials on, and then I open them if I do need to change them. So they have color and they have smoothness, but they don't know that they are indeed metals. So that is more like, because it is a pipe, it should be metal. I think another interesting material is for the boss door. And the boss door material should also know that it is indeed a metal. So it tints the reflection to the own color. That's the main thing that I think that metalness is doing on materials. Because metals in real life can tint the color of the reflection towards itself. What's kind of interesting. So here we have a fish. And you might think, what? It's a one-sided fish. So we see that and not from outside. So we need to see the fish like that. And where is fish material? Don't we have fish material? There's fish material. So zack, the fish. So the fish should be fed with some textures. We have fish that has no cutout. I see. Cutout. So it wants to be in the alpha, but we don't have that here. Yeah, that's difficult with the standard shader if it's not. I mean, it's an easy solution, but yeah. Not here. So I put the normal map in, of course. But how do we fix that with a texture? Okay, we don't have it here. I whine. Where is it? Texture. Is it a program I own? I start it. We go back to this here. I click on the texture, show in Explorer. Yeah, I'm on Windows 11 now. Ooh. Then we drag and drop the texture in here and we see we have a free alpha channel. Zip. And that will cut out all of that. If we save it at PNG in the same folder and yeah, let's just save it. I have not forgot anything. So, and then we go back. It is reloaded and is automatically working because it seems to know alpha's transparency. Okay, it usually would need to know it like that, but the material itself is now a cutout, and so it automatically searches for the alpha. It doesn't matter what's in there. This fish, you know, we can make something like... we could do something like an animator. An animator, yeah, it is part of the level, and will have many animators, I guess. So animator controller, fish animation. We do also need fish loop. So we do nothing else than just telling the fish that you are controlled by that here. And in the animator, we have a base loop that should be just always on, and is this animation automatically working at the standard. And in the animation, we record it. So this is 1 second. Usually the first second is selected. And then we should have control about the location and the scale. That is the everything we need, kinda. And yeah, let's start here. And let's say like after a bit of time, the scale is the different, the opposite. It's a negative scale, and with such a texture, it works like, oh, it's the other way around now. So then over like, I don't know, 9 or 7 up to 7 seconds here, you just go over and swim like up to here. Here, a bit after that, we need control back about the scale. So always like up to here, nothing changes on the scale. And a bit after that, the fish flops over. It would be... I don't like that. I really don't like that. I want to do it not like that. The scale we kill. Please. It is just not pretty if it just plops over. What do we can do? Let's get into the material, and I know that Speed Tree 8, for example, is a material that also works very well. Yeah, it also works like that. Like you can see, nothing really changes. The thing is gone, the normal map. So we need to activate the normal map first so that it is working. It just gives a bit of depth. And then two-sided, yes, because this is a shader Unity has per default, and it just copies the one side over to the other. Because it is made speed tree, it's for leaves, and leaves also should have an underside. So that's just like go back to the first frame here, and then we also need now control about the rotation. I think that is a bit better. So we record, you know. Now we have also control over the rotation. It starts here. A bit after that, you will have like... Let's just ignore that. Exactly. Let's just at first say, okay, you go over here, and then we just use this point here and we copy it over. So it's perfectly looped. And what's between there doesn't matter. So we mark both those points, says both linear, so it's like the one into the other. And then, so we know that here on this point, the fish needs to move around. So when you're going here, so here it makes sense you're still like that. And here maybe you will have, you know, what do I do? Fishy. So that's unpretty. It's I could have searched for a worse place to do that. Exactly on a pillar. I'm such a big genius, big mind. Maybe we start that on the beginning. So the position. Let's take the position, copy it over, and let's say you stay here for that second. And within that second, you move around. And the pillar is in the way. You know what? I don't care. I will just move the pillar instead of change the animation again. So we move over to that. It's the 2D fish. Yeah, like that. Bit back. And then you do a quick turn. Fishes can be very quick. So now I make this so that the fish will wobble a bit because the fish is swimming. Yeah, you can choose how much time you want to spend on those little things. You could also add little sounds there, you know, it's fine. And this heckin' pillar, away with though. Out of the way of my fishy. So, and here is something that is always when I click, there is something in the way, it seems. I don't know. It's also not the best thing that these are all different objects, but because they are all so, yeah, it's just cubes. 150 cubes or so. I just made it because here I don't want to fidget. In Blender, it is just so easy to tell those stones that they are 1 meter by a half meter, and it's so easy to just displace them, and they are just tiled endlessly. Tiling with endless textures is also a thing that was very convenient here. Yeah. So, right now, when we fall through that here, we would not have any physics. So, we need kinder on all of these, we need collision. So all these bricks here needs a box collider because it's such an easy collider, you know? Double click to see one. These are all boxes. To use box colliders here, it's just so easy. You can just double click on any other. You look for the collider, it just matches because all of those things are boxes. Also, all these things here we mark and say it is static, it will never move, don't worry about it. The backgrounds here are a bit more difficult. This one, the other one is back there because it's a copy of it. Then I made this weird thing and this background. Also, we mark We mark this and this background and the boss room background. Of course, those will not move, and you should not collide through them. So here, because they are so complicated, it's a mesh collider. Because those are... Yeah, convex is just important if you want to make it a trigger or any physical thing that makes sense. But that also changes kind of the dimensions of it. I don't know. So, for the pipe, I don't think we need a collider there. For the pillars, it makes sense. So, at first, this thing here was my first creation. It was a full room. Exactly like that here. Those are rooms. So, you're static, and we need a mesh collider because you're complicated. Let's try with this one here. Okay, you're also complicated. It's a mesh collider. Bob. Other thing is... you should try to avoid mesh colliders. They are heavy. But because the geometry here is so easy, it shouldn't be bad. So these are all single pillars, so I have more control for them. Yeah, if you search for collider, you see what kind of colliders you have. We could go for a capsule collider here. I don't know if that would make... we can try. How does it look? Ooh, shitty. You would say it's difficult, so it's a mesh collider. But imagine if you just do a box collider. Do you see a difference? It's just this little edge here. You see this little edge that is wrong. But you have so many polygons here to have a round cylinder. And you don't need more than that. So if I go for this and also for that, and this and that and this and that and this and that and this, not. Why? I will tell. So we have box colliders here. You also don't move. But the others here are in the water. Except the last one. So those also static but don't need colliders because you don't go in the water. This one also static. You need a collider. See? So easy. To do something. This platform should have a box collider because you can jump on it. But I also wanted to move. For that, I found a system. Is it in here somewhere? Platform link. So the player can be linked to a platform here. I drag and drop it into head. I never tried that, by the way. And that is also a normal development thing. You sometimes use code of other people and you hope it works. So, link to default and environment. Link to layers. I would like to create a new layer and call it platform. So that you just look for platform, not for the others. You inherit the velocity, of course. Unlink distance, okay. Link lock. What's this? Automatic link is turned off and can only link and by calling the methods. I will try that. For now, I just click on this thing here and say you're a platform. So I hope that the script will work. The problem is you can stand on there if there's a box collider. But if it moves, you will keep standing there. But I want the player to move with it. I wonder, there is a readme. Open an Explorer and open it here, because if you open that in Unity, you always will open it in a Visual Studio thing, and that is just annoying. So, GitHub. Controllers are only considered a platform if they have a rigid body. See, we just learned something by reading the README. So, this platform here needs a rigid body. So, you have a mass of, I would say, 20 kilograms. if it's such a platform. Drag, another drag. Use gravity, nope. Is kinematic, yes. So it will not fall down, but it is movable. So it's also not static when we wanna animate it. So it should be here and it move back and forth because this gap is kind of big. Yeah. I go back to the world and say, for example, the jump force, jump impulse we do to 5. It can be higher here because it's a platform and these are a few meters. So we can be a bit easy on that one. So main camera, use graphic settings. Some things are not working well if we use the wrong. I always forget the things because you just need to know the connections. You don't need to learn everything by word. Forward deferred. My feelings say deferred. We will see if that was a good thing or not. I don't want to clip everything that is 30 centimeters from you. It's a full foot, you know? If you're an American being a full foot in front of your face and you can't see it, that's shitty. So I want that to a centimeter. But the distance you see, it's okay if that's just 100 meters. Because it shouldn't be too big when the other value is tiny. Make it 150 because I made the scene. I know that this is about 100 meters. So make it a bit bigger so nothing clips away when it's far away. That would be not so pretty. So there are many things not like I want them. The background plane, for example, here is the things are not pretty so far. Some people say that you do it last, the prettiness, but I say I do whatever I do. At some point I will finish. So a camera is here. Interesting. It is the camera that I used in Blender to render it out. And it was still marked as I don't need that one here. I don't want to be confused. So materials. There is a backpack, and backpack has this thing here, and there is alpha in it. They are all compressed, you know. I click the crunch compression 90 for any SO level, then apply, so the upload size will be much tinier. So, and now with the material, we also need to make it a cutout, and then of course it works well. So it is Hackens smoothness is, yeah, smoothness there shouldn't be. It's true. And it also has cut through things now. Also, the old Super Mario games always had kinder background thingies, background gradients. I made a gradient in Blender itself with a very easy trick, you know, when you go here and you click on the background and I go to the shading mode, you see it's just here a gradient texture in a color ramp, and that's all. And if you just create a new image texture, you know, and click then on new and create one texture and then keep it clicked, and you use in the render settings cycles, then in bake you can just say the diffuse above surface, just the color, and then bake, and you will get the image out. So, and that one here is what we need here in this material. So back in the materials, I use this material on the gradient plane and also the gradient plane 1. It's just background stuff, and I will use gradient on it, and it works totally not so far. So let's see what happened. We have here the gradient. Everything is fine. We have the gradient plane. You have standard. Why is it not updating the albedo? What's with that? Because in Blender, if you use mapping object, then you don't need a UV map. But you need a UV map if you put a texture on it. If you generate something with procedural techniques like I did here, then you don't need to bug about that. Many things you can do here, like modifiers and stuff, you can't do in Unity. So I look at the background and I edit it. And I go to the UV editing and gradient. Weird. You see that there is indeed. I mean, what happens if I go into the shading and say, Bob, don't bug me, Bob. So that works too. So if I use the texture, it works. Okay, that is not the problem, but it could be the problem. But it isn't. Okay, we have a plane here. It is nothing else than a plane. Is it too big, maybe? Is it bigger than... Because it is very big, you know? Is it too big to be... But no, we have also comparably big planes here, so nothing that kind of could clip. It had emission white. Ah, it's so stupid that those little things, you know, when you have them here, you see it. Because it has emission also in Blender, but it uses the texture. Oh, gosh, heck. If you click emission on this one here, nothing happens because it's black. But on white, of course, it does that. If I go back here and I choose that this should be the emission, then it would work. Oh, so stupid. And these are the things that keeps you, yeah. Whatever. We can do something really quick like this door is adorable. Aha! So we make a box collider around here and say you are a trigger. So this door indeed is a trigger. And because we are good game designers, we prolong that box a bit so that people don't need to actually run into it. But if they're close enough, it will trigger. And of course, it will trigger a Udon behavior. What do I do here? So let's create a folder and let's call that code. And in code, we create a VR Udon program graph asset and call it like a game controller. These are things that will be important for the whole thing. And then we rename a thing and call it boss TP. Or let's name it teleport, because then you could use it everywhere. Be object oriented. So this door is static. And it has a teleport that is manual, because it will just happen, you know, we open it. So it happens on player trigger enter. And then you do things. Wild, different things. Like... teleport to the player that runs into it instantly. Bam. And then we need something like a transform. We need where. Where do we want that? So it is public and we say a goal. So the goal, you get the transform. Okay, it is always a transform. Get position and get rotation. That is the goal. That is the goal. Of course, we need to do more than that. Like, we have an audio source and we call it level SFX for sound effects. Yeah, public. And then you play a one shot. So you teleport and you also do a sound. And it is an audio clip that is like always public because we need to make it accessible. TP. We could be better. SFX TP. SFX TP. So that will be played. And we could do more than that, you know? Because this is still not pretty. So animator transition. Yeah. So we have a transition somewhere. And then it will be animated at first. So we do something like set the bool in an animator. That is the first bool on true. And that you do first. Because we need a transition first. And seconds. Send custom event delayed seconds. It sounds more difficult than it is. Because you need the transition to work for like a quarter second. Like a quarter second. Thank you. And then we have an event that is a custom event. And that will be... That is new. Max events per second. This is new, indeed. Interesting. They changed that with one of the last updates, it seems. Okay. So it's a custom event and we call it... Go on. That's really random. Actual TP. So it's the actual teleport. And that actual teleport. So we'll do the teleport. So the teleport code will go down here. It's still this player. Yeah. Zip. And you don't need the sound anymore because the sound will be played instantly. So like that. And then you see the transition things happen. And of course the bool we duplicated needs to get off again after that. So you see something again. And of course it should be the same animator. But we have one problem. Who should get all that? Who should get all the code? We make a branch. And the branch says, is this player here? Is that the local player? Is that the bean that also caused the shit? And Joseph says, yes, of course. Then all the shit happens. The animator fires. You hear something. You wait for a quarter second. And then you go to actual TP. Actual TP then does the teleport and resets the animator. And boom, we have a nice teleport. But it wouldn't work because it knows nothing so far. It just knows what to do, but not with what. So we need at first something like create empty locations. And the first location should be something like boss room. And the boss room is when you come out of this pipe. So we place ourselves here, press Ctrl Shift F. And then the teleport is exactly here. So, local, because local means the blue arrow is the correct direction. I don't want this little tilt. I want minus 90. So the blue thing is, yep. I don't need a tilt here. Not even the slightest. So I give you a bit room. This thing is not colliding. This should be a meter now. So even... yeah, okay. So you don't bug into the room ceiling. And if it happens, we will see. I will test that, of course, before I make it public. So, and then you fall down. So this should be, that means that this door should get the boss room as the goal. For example, but it just works if everything is filled out. Of course, we want better water. The water surface here is... I can't find words. But there's so much stuff to do. So much stuff to do. Whee! So this also looks a bit dull. Materials. We already made nicer materials here that are working better in Unity. So what do we need here in head? We need something like an audio source that is their audio source, like music. It's the music that plays. And we also need a spatializer for that, so it will work. And it is 2D because it is music. So the volume should be like 0.15, not so loud. It plays not on awake because we want to make it code driven. It is definitely looping because it's music. Spatialize, and we don't spatialize that because it is music. It has no space. Enable spatialization? No. It is no space. It is everywhere. Yeah. So then we duplicate that and call that sound effects. That is like sound effects underbar exegetic. So it is not in the level. It is not sounds like bloop 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 on a fish or so. Exegetic means out of experience, like user interface stuff or so. So, and this should also be 2D because it is not in the level and stuff. It will be played from everywhere. But it can be louder because it is more important, like 40% of the maximum, and it has a higher priority. So half of the priority of the music, it should be louder in the mix, and it will not loop because it is a one-time effect. But that is everything we need, kinda, for it to work. And then we can say the door boss now has a player and also a sound, because in the level we have a pipe sound, like brew, 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 pipe. It is the clip. And then we need an animator. So we go here in head and we create an empty and call it transition. And on the transition, animator. And there we need an animator. I know, it's fidgety. It's so fidgety. We can go here in code and create here an animator controller that says transition. I have planned to make an hour video today. I'm curious how far we will come. I mean, I already prepared that, you know. You can also just go to Sketchfab or somewhere. Just get yourself some things to set up and then do weird, wild things with it. Be creative. So, let's see. Transition. Animation. Transition. So the transition should be a post-process volume that is global everywhere. And it, yeah, of course I need one at first. The main camera needs a post-process layer for it to work. And the layer should be something we don't use, like water. So it's the main camera. Yep, you already know that. Favorite running path, actual fog setting should Set in lighting panel. Yeah. Whatever. So the transition needs to be then on the layer of water, and we create a new post-processing here, and we add the effect that says vignette, and the vignette intensity zoom. So transition, let's see. The post-processing volume is global, it is water. The weight is on 1. And we have yes, smoothness, roundness. Add the effect of color grading. Why not? Because then we can go down with the exposure, and we see that nothing really happens right now. That, you know, I make it. I do this stuff here for years now, and I still always make wrong things. That's just normal. It is just normal. So was it forward instead of deferred? Maybe it was forward rendering that works better. So we have a layer here on water. What have I missed here? The transition is on water. Is it because it is bitchy because of the... Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should be able to be here. Tja. What is my problem here? I bet I will hit my face on the desk when I find out. So with the -5 post exposure, we should see a heckin' effect. It is on 1. It is global. It is a volume. This one is on the camera is a layer. What have I missed? Spawn order. I'm just looking through stuff right now. Yeah, the only thing here... Yeah. It should be on the camera. The new layer. Very weird. Main camera is a trigger, the layer is water. You don't need to have the camera on water, yeah? That would be weird. No. What have I done? Transition. It is on water. I really don't see. Let's kill that. Okay. That would be weird. You know, if like, oh no, on this object you can't have the animation of the same object like the post-processing. What did I different than kind of every time? The main camera is somewhere right now. Let's get the bean here. Hey. Where is the pumpkin? So. Just to be... It's not important where the camera is, but I'm so confused right now why the post-processing is not working. I'm so confused. We have a profile. Yeah. That's with... let's make an hour video to show that Unity is an ass. Because if you do one thing different than Unity bitches Unity bitch once, then nothing works. So I might tackle that someone else later. I would just cut it for now because I don't do any progress there. That bugs me more than it should. So here we have the level controller. And I said that we have here a game controller, and we open that one. And yeah, on player spawn. So when you spawn, what should happen? What is the first thing that happens here? Well, the first thing should be that the music is playing. Many different things could happen here. So we need an audio source, we need an audio source, we need an audio clip, we need an audio clip, we need an audio clip, we need... That's fine. So we have a music speaker, and we have an SFX speaker, and we have SFX, we have like spawn. Phew. I call it just spawn. Intro. Music. I don't know. Keep it easy. So, so when you spawn, then you play a one shot in the speaker, and that is the intro at first. And you also use this speaker to say like you're spawned. You make a spawn sound, like entering the level kinda, or the pipe sound, for example. And then you wait. You get the length of the intro, get length, and then again you wait seconds, how long the intro was, and then you have a custom event. Go music. Other stuff can also be checked here, you know, that changes player stuff. Who knows, who knows? And it will use the music speaker, and it will stop whatever is there. It will instantly, it will stop in that moment. And then you, now it needs to use the loop. That means we need to set clip. So we set the clip and we play it. So it stops whatever happens there, and then it sets the correct music to play it then. So it's doing what the thing is. Because with that one, I just said just play it once. And after you're finished, you go for go music. So that means that the first thing is special, and then you get in the loop. You will get in the loop then. Of course, we need to have access to all of those, otherwise it is not working. Yeah. So on the level controller, compile the stuff. So music, it's music speaker, SFX speaker, and then we have a spawn. Spawn should be pipe or so. I guess yes. We go for pipe. So the intro is like mid-boss could be the boss room, but we also have castle intro and castle loop. Also, I tried to get event input jump. So when the player jumps, go for the SFX speaker and play a one shot that is audio clip jump. Because we are in a jump and run, yeah? So we use jump, 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 jump. Bool bool value. Udon input event args. So I hope it's local. It would not make sense to be not local, but we're on VR chat, so we never know. So now also we have a jump sound. So the transition is still dead, but it has an animator. And there should be a bool that says transition. Maybe something easy like that. And we need a transition layer that is activated and works. So back to code, transition. Nah, we make an empty thing that does nothing, and then we have transition. So from any state, if that is true, you go in, and when it's false, you go out, and done. And transition should do this to 1, because per default it should be 0, you know. It's not working now, but at least the code should work, otherwise stuff will break. Even if it's not working, you know, you can finish it later, you can polish, you can add stuff. If it's not working instantly, don't break your head for hours. It's just, it doesn't make sense. So now we put the transition here. So we have it now. That's good. Also, we can go back here and finally select capture an image in the scene. We use the custom camera, the kinda only one, temp camera. Whatever, main camera, fill background. Okay, you're not working. Oh man. Unity VR chat. Why am I married to you? Why am I doing so many stuff? It's better than nothing. It's not pretty. Better is if I render something nice out in Blender, then it looks better. Because in Blender everything looks better. And then we could upload stuff, but not now. Even though it wouldn't be published, but yeah. Hick. For that we will definitely find better textures in the future. But let's see what happens if I try to play. Maybe everything will explode. Then that wouldn't be nice. Or it says like there are arrows you have to head before. Oh, we have no light and it is working now. Our post-processing is working. It's just not showing up in... It is so... I don't know what to say. That is so... Unity. And so VR chat. Okay, it works, but you can't see it. Why can't I see it? So, let's see. Scene camera. Dynamic clipping, occlusion culling. We also want to go down here on smaller. Is here an option that says we don't see the post-processing? Stress. There is post-processing. But it's on. Post-process volume. It's on. It should be on. Shaded. So it's also the full mode. I mean, I was also confused why we heard nothing. So the controller here, we also heard nothing. On spawn should be maybe something like, we could also say on start. So when the map starts for ya, it does it. Because maybe Unity doesn't understand the spawn logic because we are not spawning, we are starting. You know, I'm prepared for everything. And the hour is hit. Yeah, it works. It is exactly... Aw, we even have Yoshi's jump sounds now. And we have strong jumps, so we can do that. The music is even still a bit loud, because heckin' prominent. I would even go for 0.75. Don't ask me why it also is so... Why it's so exaggerated. That's just how... It's Unity. So, why? This should be 0, of course. But why is it not showing up when I am in here? So, in game it shows up, in scene not. Well, at least I can test it here. But it's, you know, welcome to Unity. Welcome to Unity, have a look around. Yeah, whatever. More vignette. More smoothness, I guess, also helps to narrow it. I don't know why you don't have a completely narrowed thing, because... Yeah, a good thing is that A good thing is that could be like, you know, like an eye. Usually I would go for smooth, but because it is kind of making the old Super Nintendo aesthetics, I keep it sharp. I just keep it sharp, because that's how it was back then. And then I also go for even darker, you know, you don't see anything anymore. Does it work? Yeah. 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 If I could delay the post FX, you know? If you could just like, because without this here, that's nice. But yeah. This is just off-centering it. Mode classic. Masked. Classic. So intensity 1 sadly is not complete. What doesn't make sense, but we're in Unity. Yeah, sadly I need that. So it would be better if I could delay it with different post-processing effects, but we don't want to overdo it. You know? You don't want to overdo it. I mean, we are here for an hour now, or since an hour, so we should slowly finish. Is there something I missed? There are so many different possibilities I can add here. We can add here a button that opens a wall. I want that. I want that. You know, to click that button and then an animation happens. Also, I want coins that are in the air and they are animated in a loop around their own axis, like the fish, you know, they start where they end. And a trigger box around, and when player trigger enter, then the coin will disappear and make a bling sound. And after like 20 seconds reappear, because it's just for the mood. The door here could also do more. You know, we are here, the teleport. The teleport could also do something like knowing the audio source of the music. And the music should do something like stop. And we know the name now. It's always good, you know, if you know the name, to go in the animator, in the parameter, and copy it out. Not type, copy it. You can do errors, so boolean and the name, you know, just make it as object oriented as possible. Strings public. It is called like transition name. Transition name is the thing. It's safer. Why do I do the extra way here? Because I had problems in the past. This is always something like you don't understand why stuff happen, but you run into problems, and at some point you're just like, oh, I know these problems. Let's just avoid them. It doesn't make sense, but it's Unity. Unity doesn't make sense. Let's just avoid them because it happens that sometimes it doesn't work. But if I give it a name, you know, I said before the first string, the string, the bool 0, you do. That should be everything the code should know. But trust me. Just trust me. So, we set a different clip and then we play it again. So, zip. And the boss music, of course. That means audio clip. Audio clip. You know what would be better? To keep it object-oriented. Keep it object-oriented. Udon behavior. Public. Controller. Send. So when you're this player, you know, just for you, send a custom event to the controller. The level controller. Because we already control the music there. Let's not control it here. Let's control it there. And here you could go for a string that is a constant string. And you call that boss mx. You copy that. And then you go back to the game controller. And we have an event that is this boss fx, you know? So now it's the same. It's the same code, just a different track. So we could try to reuse that. But we also do something like the speaker sound, the spawn sound. It is a teleport thing. So it's the same. It's the same. So why not do the same? It would play the wrong music now. The intro is different, you know? So how can we change that it works again? We need to change things. So we could make it easier, but why not try to do something like boss? Not box. Boss. And we deactivate that. Boss is usually deactivated. And we create a branch that checks. No. Always check for this. No. Always play. No. I try to make it. So, if the boss event is triggered, game object boss. Yeah, this one here is this one. Set it to on. We are now in the boss room. So and then go here in, yeah. We want to reuse the same code. It doesn't work like that. I should have done it different. I should have done it easier. So you check at first, boss, get active self. So tell me if we are now in the boss room. And if not, do the same that you just did. Go through. Ignore that. Because you always have a spawn sound. That means, of course, you set this at first to active, but then playing the spawn sound should be always happen. Zip. Doesn't matter. You play it. Yeah? You play that spawn sound. And then you say, okay, where are we? And then we like, oh yeah, you play the intro of the music speaker thingy. And then you go for the actual music. But the boss music for the boss. So we duplicate it. It's the same. So if the boss is true, you play a different clip and do the same. So we have also, so we have intro, underbar normal, and now we got the audio clip, intro underbar boss. So, and also here, you get length, and then after so much time, because it's a different length, you know, it's a the different length, so you go music after a different time, because we have now different. So and then we also want to reuse that. So we need to redo the branch. We need to redo the branch. So we just check the boss. Is the boss already... Are we there now? Are we in the boss room? If false, just do the same you did before. And then we need a new audio clip. That is music boss. Music is now music. Normal. Music boss. La 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 la. Does the same. So it's still the same. Speaker, speaker, speaker. If we are in the boss room, zip, 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 you set the audio clip to the boss music. Otherwise to the normal music. A jump thingy. Also, you don't want jump, 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 jump. So, branch. If you jump, you test something before. The speaker. Get is playing. You check, are you playing already? When not, then do that. Because there will be not much sound stuff. But don't do multiple jump sounds. That's annoying. So that's might be better. So this here we group because it gets big. So we make a group and call it intro music. And here we do the group music loop. And that so far is the jump SFX. So we keep it all nice and tidy. So intro boss. Here's the loop. And now we should have tackled that. So easy. It is indeed compared to what still needs to be done and what I have done in other maps, that is nothing. Absolutely nothing. So transition level control transition. Everything should have working now. The stuff that we already did. I would change textures, you know. I would put a water material on here. Also, I always like to do something like Remayo's player lift up. That is on a script, not on a prefab. I need to go in the scene and drag and drop prefab here first. I don't want to do it now. Here I have some prefabs for fog. So we have clouds C directional. Clouds C. I think that this is good to have them here. Because it is a foggy castle. I mean, it's Froggy Castle, but it's also a foggy castle. So let's have fog like on the sea. Here. As particle system. I like that. I really do. For some mood. Let's test the level again. Let's see what's broken this time. Yeah, this will just... I want... If this button is pushed, you know, I want that... here it's a wall that like... Boom, 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 boom... goes away like it was in the original game. And this, yeah. Also, the lighting is bad. And we have no... You know, this also should not be... it should be like if you... fall in here, you instantly respawn. Let's try to get to the teleporter to see if that is working. So far, oh no, we don't need to, because it's already not working. Because we hear no music. So, on start, we go in play one shot. That is working. The boss is just on the event, on, yeah. And then you check the active self. So the script is dying, maybe. Is something missing? We have the music, energy pipe, yep. Intro normal, because we renamed that. You know, it's Unity. Unity, I'm so stupid. Because we renamed intro to intro normal and music normal, the stuff that was set in here is kicked out. And if there is null, so nothing in it, then it will always break when the code can't be done here. So problem should be solved. I love Unity because of those things. It makes you it makes you use triple the time, because sometimes stuff is just not working, so you just work triple the time. Okay, it bugs me too much. It bugs me too much. So we create head, create cube, respawner. Where is the cube? The cube is there. Why is the cube down there? It doesn't make sense, but I'm Unity. So, this cube should be on water level, but a bit below. But if you're in the water, you're definitely dead. The full level length. If you're in the water, you will respawn. Zm. It is a cube for now because yip, yip. We just kill the mesh, we say you are a trigger, and you get a script. The script will be just on touch, so we go in code. We just duplicate teleport because I don't like menus and call it like respawner. And the respawner get the script. And then we say open, it's the respawner, on trigger enter. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Do we have a sound effect that is like, oh, like the dying? I don't think that I grabbed that sound. Button, coin. What is this? Okay, that is not very matching. Yeah, that is okay. Poo. That is more jump. A platform link. Poo. Yeah, that was that. There are so many difficult things about that level that I got here. References, sounds, explosion. What do we have here? Yeah, of course. That's something we want to hear when we die. Yeah, it could be like, you know, that you get an extra try. I don't have... Yeah, I just have sounds that are important for that level here. Pooh! I mean, we could use something like... You know, it doesn't make sense, but we can change when we find a better one. But if you don't have a better one, you know, you just... Yeah. SFX 1 up. Because you get an extra life. Sometimes you just take what's closest. So you get... You need to be the local player. You instantly see the transition that goes dark. You play a one-shot. And in this time, it should be... level F SFX should get like... Audio source is level F SFX. And then TP, the teleport sound. Yeah, it is true. It is true. So we have the delay. We need to wait. And when the delay is done, you teleport to the goal. So it's kinda it's the same script. Then back, and you send an event. Okay, in the respawner we don't need that event right now. I don't know. We can change that later. If maybe we count at some point how often the player is dying. I don't know. So the respawner. Transition name. Compile. Don't know that. Oh wait! Oh no! Oh, I did a mistake. Okay, I saved it. Transition. On the transitioner. I hope the name is correct because you never know. I like to copy it so that I don't make because if you just do one wrong letter in there, you search yourself. You know, in Germany we say you search your ass off. I don't know if that's yeah. So the original VRChat world thingy should be the go. So the level start again. The SFX is the SFX blah blah blah, and you get the one up. Everything else should be just like that. It will never move. Let's see. That works. We need to just get over it. Oh gosh, like the game. Yeah, so much to do until it looks pretty. You know, the lighting is also total shit. But... And now we hear... 2 musics? No. But it took some time to work. It took some time. So the first thing I want to definitely change instantly here is on the first, on start, we need a transition. Maybe... Oh, teleport. You know what I want to do? I want to take the transition out here. It should be out of the code in the game controller. Because I also can tell, like, I can fire the transition then whenever. I will fire the transition on respawn. I will fire the transition on teleport. I will fire on start. Because you want to make it not that you copy everything over and over and over everywhere. It works with such a small project, but it's sloppy. And if your project grows, you will bite your ass off because it will always stand in your way. So what I do now is I make an own group transition with an own event, and I don't just fire the event, do the transition. Because I can do it on so many, you know? But for now, I also am confused. Why did it take time? So I was teleported. You know? Oh, I sent the custom event at the end. So I sent the music change at the end. But when I teleport, I should instantly know, you know, you can do something like a block. Go in here and do what you did before, but do another thing also. Don't wait time. Just instantly fire that we are now in the boss room, because when you teleport, you get instantly a black screen for a quarter second. Yeah? And instantly fire to the game controller that we are in boss now. That will instantly set the event true and play a one shot. Of course, it will be here the and then it will be true. Okay, you play a one shot here because on start, of course, it should be something difficult. Yeah. You should prevent overlapping. Stop it first, then play the one shot, and then kind of wait for the length of the one shot to then go to the actual music that also stops it first. Yeah. Why here one shot? Because it is also so just one time, and here, yeah. So and I will do the transition thing. I will animate this. I will animate something with the thing here. I will make it prettier. I will make a better lighting. I will try to make more animation. A boss, this, that. And then I will upload a nice little retro map. It is private now, but I can already make it a test version. Yeah. And it would be nice if I do this in 1 or 2 days, because I already did some work and it is a small project, so I can finish quickly. If it's done, I will upload this video and I put the link in the description. So have fun and thank you Now it asks me for ownership. Yes, I am Nintendo. Everything is mine. Now, there are many words on VRChat that use stuff from Nintendo or other companies. And usually companies are not suing you or telling you, like, don't do that. I mean, suing, they wouldn't for that here. They would maybe say, like, don't do that, take it down or so. But for such a thing, they usually don't do that. But you should, in the description, write the disclaimer that all rights to Super Mario, Yoshi, whatever, belongs to Nintendo, yeah? And this is just a tribute or whatever. So, just to be extra sure. I think if they read something like that, if they ever would see that, and they read a disclaimer like that, the chance that they just say, like, let them be, is way higher than if you would have not done that. But yeah, in this world, so far, everything, it is not, there is so much you can do to enhance the feeling there, kinder. And I would definitely do that. Like a water shader, to not just have a surface that is just like single color. I have done a texture here in Blender, you know. If you go in here, so I deactivate the backgrounds, and the cylinders. Would there be ways I could make some things quicker or more performant? I bet. But it's also important to finish. Plain foreground. I guess this is just like, So, I made some fog here, you know. There. Gosh heck. You see, there is a fog layer that is not selectable, but now it is. Because it is over everything here, and I was bugged by that. So, I will of course use that. If I use a fog, I should do that on this whole scene. It is kind of like a thick layer of, to make things more pretty if you decide to render it out. You see the surface here, it is prettier, but yeah, blah blah blah. I will do something here, so see it on the website. How, I love password thingy. So it's private and 8 megabytes. 8 megabytes, that's so funny. I guess when I'm done, I'm about at least 10 megabytes, but that will be a small map. That will be a small map. Yeah, thank you for watching that little video with me. I hope that you learned stuff like go in the game view to view your post-processing effects, because there it definitely will work, but in the scene view, it might not. Yeah, I have much to do now. The background color is a bit aggressive, isn't it? It's a bit aggressive. It looks like, hey, I have no material. I'm pink. Maybe I don't make a glow there to not pop out so much. But also the lighting, environment, gradient, color. How about... No. You don't do that. We don't do that. We use proper lighting. But not now. I will do a better atmosphere later. And hell yeah! 1.5 months later, I worked for dozens of hours more. You just saw the 1.5 hours start after I finished creating some things in Blender. Yeah. When we look to Blender, I just show you what happened in the meantime in those 6 weeks on this single project. And it was definitely something. Oh, new Blender version, of course. Yeah, of course. Give me the... Oh, it's the new 4.5 version. Interesting. Would you like to open recent? This one. So here I just created a little basket full of funny little mushrooms for the map, because there was shrinking mushrooms, because I thought that maybe you need them to get into tiny places here and there in the next update of the map, though. Here is one of the iconic monsters. Of course, everything needs to be loaded now because new version, shader compiling, blah. Yeah, I just, in Blender, I also made some items that I thought are matching for the world. That should be done in the world. Also, in this level, there is a boss. There was a boss that swallows you and you have to fight in the stomach. So I also made a stomach model with a bone chain to move the whole thing a bit. Many little things that I made here and brought then into the project. And of course, I also sometimes just made something like not bilinear filtering here on textures, but point, no filter. That makes a pixel effect. You usually might not want that, but in such a project, also look how much better everything looks now, yeah? I made the level more in the width and not just in the length, so I gave it a bit more of the 3D space. And I copied some things over. I also made something like that you don't have every single stone colliding, because that is heckin' too much. So if you see, I just marked cubic parts of the level and made them colliding. Of course, also more animating stuff, you know. More coins, more sounds, more music, more everything. And I made these little lamps that are a bit like plants, because I saw them back here on the background, kind of lamps that are like plants. And I just made them in 3D to have light sources, and then baked those lights into a proper lighting, what kind of doubled the map size. Half of the map is just the lighting, but it is definitely way more pretty now. Here is the wall that goes away with the button I overhauled a bit. So you have now a proper animation for that. This performance button here just switches, for example, the water effects with less realistic water. You have little message boxes that pops up when clicked or touched and create a message, and again away if you click it again. Here is a board for how many coins you collected, and then yeah, fishy going more ways. You have doors that connects you with other parts of the level. You have these star circles. When you go through, you save your progress there. You have I think for 8 hours I just worked. I think this single problem was 5 to 6 hours. I worked on this door here. That you have a key up there that opens this door, and when you then open the door, it just opens into the room, while these doors are making just an open close animation and sound and teleporting you to the counterpart. Why does it took so long? Because of the networking aspect. Because doing that, I also learned how to better network, and that I will show in another video. How to properly set up the networking methods for VRC. And I will definitely show you that. For now, I closed this door because I will continue this year in another update. But also, I found a free model of Yoshis called the Yippers. They are free, and then they are avatars for VR chat. And I brought them here too. If you click them, they talk to you. This flower I just remember from the old days. When you get close, it crushes down and rolls to you. These thingies will come out of the water. Everything is activated now, so it's a bit laggy here and there. But in the game, just the room you're in is active. So I made another room here that has also dangerous spikes and rotating obstacles. Boohoos that are flying around and, spooking ya. You have these things, when you go over them, they are counting, and when they are 0, they are vanishing. You have trampolines and more moving platforms and stuff. I even made more rotating stuff and obstacles, a little boss that you need to hit multiple times, and also you begin with an overworld. You can collect balloons for some coins. You run away from a chain chomp that chomps away the stones behind ya. And here, besides Yoshi that explains you some stuff, you have the shrinking mushrooms to get tiny. And at some point, you can use that tiny size to get into cracks and reach other parts of the level. You have a shy guy just here chilling with good... like you see, I enhanced the lighting. You have reflection probes, you have light probes, you have better lighting in general, real-time lighting, baked lighting, multiple, and it's now 64 megabytes, the whole map online. Here's the castle you need to go into with interactable stuff. The boss of the map that is not yet implemented is here and there still. The bean is watching you croaking, a little bit animated here and there, just so you know what comes. So part by part, I'm just building up the level and giving something to do to the people. This door leads to this optional part. The background is rotating. You come out here and then you see those fuzzies. If you touch them, the whole level is moving a bit. Block by block will get up, will down. You have PostFX, doing things. From Donut Panic, one of the first, self-scrolling levels here. You have these donuts. When you touch them, they fall down. They will come back after time and stuff. And also the starting point is just a little room that reminds you to the level choice. And you can click on the frog, so it will do the exact animation that it did back in the game to open just a pipe to go down. And also you can enter this room, you get the introduction music, and you see this here is kind of an AI repainted version of how the introduction began back in the days. And then I just used the same. I just said to the AI, give me the same, because I'm not the best bean in painting like that. So I just used it as a tool to say, tell me the story. I will tell you the story. I will tell you the style and what you have to, what you want to see. And so I gave it a little introduction room here. So what do I want to add? The tiny area where you get when you're small. I want to add a little cave. I want to add a little castle part where you have a slime thingy. I also want to add the boss, the frog boss that you can fight, and win against. So I kind of revamped and recreated my version of the Worlds 3 level 4 here to go in and have fun in VR, in 3D, with friends. Still not free of bugs, still not finished, but definitely I'm happy about bringing this piece of childhood to the people. But yeah, much to do. I have a long list of fixes, and I need to add more stuff and everything. And so I see you in VR, hopefully.